separated. Tell me what you think about equal rights for all in every way. Say what you think, what you think, what you think, what you think about justice. What you know, what you know, what you know, what you know about love. Why all the segregation? We all are but one nation. Oh, let us unite as one. Let us unite as one. Oh, love. So many can testify. Love, oh, love. But you still can't satisfy. You keep on praying. You wish that day would come when there'll be equal rights and justice for every man.
20 minutes moving away from the hour. It's now time for Policing with You, and it's coming to you compliments National Bank. Don't touch that dial.
What you know, what you know, what you know about love. Why all the segregation? We all are but one nation. Oh, let us unite as one. Let us unite. What you
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your National Bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
Oh, yo, 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 yo. I'm wait. Oh, yo, 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 yo. Oh, yo, 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 yo. I'm wait. Oh, yo, 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 yo.
All right, welcome back to our program, Policing with You. In the studio with me, as usual. Well, let me say that differently. Every other week, Inspector Francis, and sometimes every week, depends on his role. Sometimes he is the guest. This morning, he is the host, and I'm your moderator. Good morning to you again, sir.
Pleasant good morning, GQ. Pleasant good morning to everyone out there in the listening audience, both local, regionally, internationally, on the internet and the radio. Good morning to you. Welcome again to another program of Policing with You, where the police join with the community in making sure everything is safe. And we're bringing to you today in the studio, I have with me two senior officers of the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire and Rescue Service. I want to welcome them both, and could you kindly introduce yourselves?
Thank you, Inspector Francis.
Yes.
I am, good morning to the listening audience. I am Fire Substation Officer Level 2, Rommel Williams. I am presently stationed at the Basset Fire Station as the person second in charge for the Basset District.
Good morning, Inspector Francis. Good morning, GQ.
Yes.
Good morning, the listening audience. My name is Fire Substation Officer Timothy Martin, also stationed at the Bastia Fire Station. I am also responsible for fire prevention, the person responsible for that.
Beautiful. So welcome to you both to featured program of Policing with You. Now, this program today, we are predominantly speaking about fire. Fire within the Federation and how we can sensitize the general public. Because the dry season is upon us, and we have several different fire coming up. So I'm going to ask several questions to the good gentleman here, and they will enlighten us. Now, to jump straight into it, could you tell us the dry season when we have a lot of fires? Is there a time period for it?
Yes. For us, the dry season starts around late February, down into March, down to April, and that is the period where we have our largest number of fires and fire reports coming in, especially in the month of March, where you have a significant rise in our responses.
Wow.
And to compare it to other months, like for January we might have just 10, but for March we'll have like 40.
40.
So you could see the significant rise around that period as it relates to bushfires.
Bushfires.
Yes.
So we're talking about an increase in bushfires.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about the situation with bushfires in the Federation and how serious is it?
Well, in our opinion, bushfires, they are very serious. Now, we have situations where, one station, they might face maybe 2 to 3 large fires in one day, sometimes even 4. And this poses a lot of strain on our resources as a fire station, fire organization.
Okay, and you say 1 or 2 large. And when you say large, how big can these, how large are you talking about?
We are talking about acres of land. We are no longer in the cane industry, so we have a lot of fields. These fields, you know how big these fields are. So some of them, they stretch for miles. Looking at, let's say, the east and west of the Kim Collins Highway, for example, this particular area in the Basti region is prone to bushfires throughout the period in which Mr. Williams spoke of. So, yes, we have been bombarded by huge fires.
Okay, and as the fire department, how do you all cover the let's start with St. Kitts first. How do you all cover St. Kitts? Because I know it's not a lot of you guys, and I know when these things happen, you guys have to respond to make sure everything is okay. So what areas cover like Basti and what areas cover like the country, and if you all do bush fires in the mountain as well? I just want just for the general knowledge.
Okay. St. Kitts is split up in zones. So we have 3 zones. There is the Bastia zone, the Sunny Point zone, and the Tabernacle zone.
Okay.
Bastia covers from Kean to the Frigate Bay area, then the St. Peter's area, and in the west down to Stone Fort. The Sunny Point district covers from Old Road to Date Bay, and then the Tabernacle district covers from Passing Ground to Brighton, which is just outside of Kean.
Okay, that's a good
That's the
coverage.
area that we cover. Yes.
Okay, how frequently do these fires occur?
Well,
In your estimation,
as-
doesn't have to be accurate, but from your experience being there, how frequent do they, when the dry season start, and how frequent, like on a daily, weekly, monthly?
Yes, as
frequent?
mentioned, because at this point, at this period, we have the rise in the fires. Sometimes we have like 3, 4, 5 calls a day, and that might be maybe every other day, or sometimes we might have 2 calls every day. So that contributes to the rise. And just to go back a bit on the seriousness of these fires, once these fires started, they affect livestock, they affect crops,
Okay.
they affect persons' health, because it is no longer just a fire now, it is an environmental hazard, because there are persons who would call and say, well, my child has asthma, and these are the things that we take into consideration. So sometimes, depending on where we hear the call is, we know that it's close to a populated area. So we have to respond even more urgently. Now, we treat our reports the same way. But a report that might be in an open field where you know that there is no houses and nothing is threatened, you might treat it a little differently to a place where there is hundreds of people living, because the smoke could affect their If they have asthma, that will trigger off their asthma and so forth. So we take all of these things into consideration. But as far as how frequent, like I say, between the end of February up to April, sometimes even further, it's like daily.
Daily. Wow.
So we keep going.
Okay, so these bushfires, they happen well, we know. Sometimes in the city center, there's a lot of bush in the area and it happens, right? What my question is, I know they have fire hydrants around, and I know I would assume that the big truck you guys have water on it. With reference to the fire hydrants, sometimes people park in front of it, some people don't. What's your take on that? How would you respond to that? Because I know you guys get a fire report and you'll have to respond. It could be a bushy area close by and the truck may run out of water or get low, whatever the situation is. You'll need to tap into these hydrants and so. How have you all seen any problem in accessing the hydrants?
Alright, so what I would say first off,
Yes.
our fire appliances, we always have water in them. That
Yes.
is a notion for people that, the fire truck don't have water in them, but we do have water in them. However, it's not an infinite amount of water. It runs out at some point. So we then have to rely on the hydrants that are located around. So we want to urge the public, not to park on very close to these hydrants, because it hampers our response time when a vehicle is parked over a hydrant, and we then have to either get the attention of the vehicle owner to move the vehicle, or then we have to go and find another hydrant in order for us to replenish the water level on the appliance. So it's a very serious issue for us as a fire department.
Okay. What is the effect of these fires? The effect of the fires? These fires that happen, I know you mentioned some persons have asthmatic. Any other effect? And you mentioned about the livestock and stuff like that. What are some of the major effects you all try to prevent?
Okay. These fires, it's an environmental hazard as well. When we look at what's happening around the world in terms of global warming, these fires, they give off types of gases that go up into the atmosphere, and they contribute to the change in which the earth is facing today. So what we want to say to our citizens, keep our planet in mind. Don't let us be a part of the world to contribute to the global warming, what's happening that we are facing today in the world.
Okay, so they must be mindful. You want to add something?
Just to add, in addition to what I would have mentioned earlier about it being a health issue and destroying livestock and crops or whatever. Now I'm bringing it closer to home. The fire officer now who have to deal with that. You're talking about fatigue. Depend on the size of the fire. I have to call for additional resources. So I have to take a fire appliance out of its district, leaving that district more or less open.
To support?
For support.
Wow.
So it's a strain of resources. It also is fatigue on the vehicle. If that truck, that size, that weight, has to be back and forth so often, daily. It's fatigue on the tires, the engine, shortens the lifespan of the vehicle. So it's not just about fire smoke going up into the air, persons getting their land cleared. And you don't think about these things. One of those trucks is over $1 million.
$1 million?
Over $1 million, easy per truck.
Wow.
Easy. So when you have to be pushing because of these fires that can be avoided, right? So those are some of the effects that we don't think about, and the fire officer who has to be there for 24 hours, who has to deal with 4 or 5 bush fires every day, and then he has to go home and come back again to deal with that again. We have what we call breathing apparatus on the trucks, basically. But sometimes they are depleted. and we sometimes have to save those for like structural fires and that type of stuff, house fires. So there are cases where we do get a little whiff of the smoke, right? And it's because, you know, sometimes we have to deal with those fires that we, you know, persons just sometimes, so it has an effect on us as well, right? It affects us, it affects our families, because sometimes we have to stay back longer than needed, and because of, like I mentioned, the rise in the amount of fires we have.
Okay.
If I could add
Yes,
as
sir.
well, in when we get these bushfires, and we're out there, we're fighting these bushfires, then someone who is in dire need of our help, let's say somebody who has a house fire issue, then we now have to, we're already out there dealing with that fire. We have a number of hoses out, and then we now have to go and get these hoses back on the appliance, and then for us to get to where that person really needs our help. You know, it becomes a challenge there as well.
Okay, thank you. One last question before we break for a word from our sponsors. Now, you mentioned about bringing it home. Now, to be a little bit more local, some persons, as you indicated, they might have a family and they want to clear it. Some persons at home might have some debris or whatever the case is, might cut the grass at the back, and the individuals want to rather than sending it over the dump, they want to burn it. Do you have any recommendation or any suggestion or any insight for the general public, for individuals who have done that or thinking of doing that? 'Cause that's the reality. Some people just do that. So what, from a fire position, what would you say?
Well, we face that daily. We have persons coming and calling and asking for permissions to burn this, burn that. What we do, we have taken a stand that especially around this period, we do not approve or authorize any type of burning. Because around this time, the wind is really high as well. So, and especially where the person lives, sometimes it's a definite no-no, but it's the easiest thing for persons to do. They might say, well, the easiest thing for me to do is throw it in the drum and burn it. Because one, I have to find transportation to take it to the landfill. I have to pay.
Wow.
So to avoid all of that, just let me burn it. But what we do not allow persons to burn around that time. No burning period. Whether it is farmland, whether it is just garbage in the back of your yard, you would have to find another way to.
So what's the
get that
recommendation?
cleared.
What's the recommendation?
For farmers, we recommend that you, I mean, sometimes you have to, if you're clearing your land, right? Because sometimes they clear it and sometimes it is left to go back up. Try and keep it down as much as possible. You know, you might not, I'm not a farmer, so I don't know if they would allow it to go up, for it to, you know, rejuvenate itself, however the case is. So, but what we recommend is that you keep it down, keep the bushes down, so that when it's time for you to utilize it, you don't have as much grass, however, on the land, so you don't need, there is no need to burn it. And persons who might have garbage in their yard, and the only recommendation I could give to them is to take it to the landfill.
Take it to the landfill.
I can't recommend anything else.
Take it to the
landfill.
And just one last question before, just to follow up, there are individuals who will not take a recommendation. They will want to do as they like. Is it a crime?
Yes, it
is a crime to be setting a fire in the back of your yard without notifying the fire department, without getting the approval? Is it?
Yes, it is a crime. And we want the general public to know that you can be charged under the Small Charges Act regarding the police officers. It is a nuisance to the residents around the general public. So be mindful of how you light fires, where you light fires. Barbecuing is an exception.
Barbecue is an exception.
It's an exception.
So we are allowed to do the backyard
You're allowed
barbecue.
to do the backyard barbecue.
Thank you.
Lighting garbage and things like that is a no-no.
Okay, thank you very much. GQ, can we Can we break for a word from our sponsor? We are allowed to do barbecues. Thank you.
We'll be right back. This morning program is coming to your compliments, National Bank.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your National Bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
Ease the squeeze with Digicel. Win $1,000 in groceries monthly. Get your chance when you activate any Digicel Prime bundle, pay your bill in full, sign up for a new postpaid or home entertainment package, or simply just join the Digicel family. It's that simple. Be one of 4 lucky winners selected every month from January to March to participate in our Ease the Squeeze shopping sweepstakes. Digicel gives you more so you can ease the squeeze. Digicel, better together.
There's nothing good about jail. I don't want to be here.
My father told me that as far as he was concerned, I could stay in the home forever.
Our children deserve a chance for change. Children make mistakes, and child justice reform can help everyone to address these mistakes appropriately. Instead of sending a child to adult prison, let us give them alternative sentencing. We must divert our children from the court system through a holistic and systematic approach to addressing their offense and their road to rehabilitation. Rehabilitation helps child offenders to grow, change, learn from mistakes, accept responsibility, and make better choices. Reintegration of child offenders into the community after rehabilitation benefits the child, the family, and the community with a more productive citizen. Join the movement to give our children a chance for change. This message is brought to you by the USAID OECS Juvenile Justice Reform Project 2, funded by the United States Agency for International Development. For more information, log on to oecs.org/JJRP.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
19 minutes moving up to the hour. I just want to remind you all that we'll be breaking away from our programming at the top of the hour to bring you live coverage of this morning National Assembly. Now in progress, though, we have Policing with You. We're going to take your calls in just a bit. The number to call is 465-2555. And if you're overseas, 718-577-2916. In the studio with me, we have the fire officers sharing some tips on how to prevent, in particular, bushfire. So we'll rejoin our conversation. And if you have any other question in terms of the do's and the don'ts as it relates to your, your premises and your home, you can always call in and ask those questions as well. Inspector Francis, back over to you.
Yes, during halftime, there's a discussion that came up, and I think the fire officers want to elaborate on it a bit. Yes?
No.
Yes. We had a little talk about creating fire breaks. That to us is important. We want to
fire breaks?
Okay, fire breaks. There might be some overgrown bushes around persons' residence. In keeping about, let's say, 5 to 10 feet away from your fence line, very low. In case that field is on fire, by the time it reaches that area that you have kept low, then it will prevent the fire from getting into your premises.
I understand.
So that low area that is kept around your premises is known as a fire break.
So it's like pruning the grass about 6 feet away from the fence line.
Indeed.
Oh, okay.
And what the fire break does, especially for large lands, continuous fields, if you have a large land, if you have like acres of land that you own, if you could more or less parcel the land, cut roads or fire breaks inside, what it does, it reduces the risk of spread. If I have a fire in this parcel, then I can easier control it right there and keep it there. If it's continuous, it's just going to spread.
Yes.
And then if the fire break is too small, the flame will just stretch over and
so
reach the other
how
parcel.
big would you recommend? How wide should you recommend the fire break be?
For the fields, about between 10 to 20 feet.
About that.
About 20 feet.
About the same width as a normal street. Road.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be good.
That's beautiful. So in other words, in layman terms, you have parcels of lands, just cut them real low, about 10 to 20 feet wide.
Yeah.
You know, so just in case any fires, they wouldn't go from one land to the other.
Yes.
It's
Right.
continuous. Yes. Okay. What are causes of so many fires during this period?
Okay. Well,
some of the causes. It's
we
predominantly
have-
bushfires.
Okay.
It's focusing on bushfires.
You have persons who would maliciously light fires. We say arson. Then you have spontaneous combustion, situations where maybe glass bottles and so might create a fire. However,
how glass bottles create a fire?
Okay, with the assistance of the sun.
Reflection from the sun.
Reflection of the sun.
Oh.
But that notion, to me, we have had persons in and around the community highlight, hey, you know, these glass bottles might be the cause of the fire. Yes, they can. It's like having a magnifying glass. When you angle it at a certain position, with the use of the sun, it pinpoints an object and it could start a fire.
Yes.
However, some of these fires are at nights, right?
So there's no sun to cause that at night.
From the moment the sun passes, and that bottle has to be at a direct angle in order for that to
for
start
some
a
period
fire.
of time.
Right. So from the time the sun passes, that is not any cause for a fire to break out in that area. So no. So we have the opinion that a lot of these fires is due to malicious lighting.
Yeah.
For the spontaneous combustion, I'll give you an example. Ross University, for example, they have a lot of manure. And having those manures pile up over time, it generates heat, and over time that heat could cause a fire to start.
Okay.
So we had 1 or 2 fires where that is concerned there.
Can you repeat that, what you just said? The manure?
Manure.
So there's a science behind it.
Right. The persons heat manure together long enough, it generates heat, and then that heat could start a fire. Yes.
It's interesting.
Yes, and of course you have the regular land clearing. Persons want to clear the land for farming.
Right.
And then you have children, just home.
Oh, when there's little young ones.
Yes.
Being a
they
little
get
malicious.
their hands on the backs of matches and they're excited. So they run to the field, they light the field, and they're out. And of course the cigarette stubs. Just this week, we responded to a fire, I think, down in the Challengers area, somewhere down there. A guy just finished smoking whatever he was smoking, and he just...
Could be cigarette, could be marijuana, whatever.
Whatever it was he was smoking, he just finished whatever was left and tossed it in the grass, and it had a fire.
Wow. Easy like that.
I get perturbed driving behind persons and I just see a flicker, you know, out the window, a cigarette, you know, dropping on the ground.
And that could cause a lot of trouble.
Of course it can.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to take some call?
Yes, please.
All right, seeing that there's 3 of you in the studio, we're going to...
2 headphones.
Yeah, and only 2 headphones. We're going to pull down the microphones so you can hear the questions and then respond afterwards. So for those of you who are calling, the officers can hear you, so don't be perturbed if you don't hear them respond. Let's take our first call. Good morning, you're live.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Hey.
Yeah, I'm here listening to the program, and I must give credit to the fire officers for enlightening us, educating us, and a lot of the pros and the cons, especially now we have the dry season. One thing I must say to the fire officers also, that program that they came up with some years ago in relation to the summer program with the children, I know that have paid dividend in relation to the house fires, because we used to have a lot of house fires, but the children now, they are so well educated children are turning around and they are pointing out certain things to the parents, which is very, very commendable. In relation to the same thing that the officer spoke about, even fire, a simple fire in the backyard, there's a lot of things we do not know in the general public. I can talk from experience. And it's amazing when you get the advice from this person in direction, there's so many things you might know, because you might just throw anything into that fire and that can create a serious problem. When you realize it's out of hand now, then you're calling the authority when it's too far gone, and especially if you're living in residential areas. As I said, the officers is doing a great job in educating us, and I just pray and hope that this program maybe can be replayed for a lot of persons could hear. And we have to take into consideration we are in a different era, climate change, the whole works. And, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, great job, gentlemen. Have a good day.
All right, thank you for your call. Any response from you guys before we take another call?
We want to thank that caller for echoing those sentiments. Yes, indeed, our summer program has played a major role in the decline of fires that are being lit by children. We have seen that drastic decline. So we want to urge the general public. Due to COVID-19, we did not have a program last year, but hopefully we'll see how best we could get a program back up and running.
All right, let's take another call. All right, good morning, and you're live.
Yeah, good morning. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing okay, man.
Yes, I'm also a fire officer, and I'm very delighted. And I'm very much moved to hear the fire officers them on the radio. I want to know why they are not on TV.
Well, you can see them right now, you know. Log on YouTube and Facebook. We're live right now.
Yeah, because really and truly, they're doing a good job. I'm listening to them now. And fire breakers is very important. I just want to shed light on that. The fire breakers are very important. Because sometimes they got to understand, sometimes we engage in a serious fire. And then you get another call, and sometimes all the appliances are out. But if you have a serious fire breaker around your place, you don't have to worry. You're safe. So the surrounding, cleaning the surrounding is very good. And again, I want to congratulate the fire officers for doing such a wonderful work right now on the radio. I want to commend them, right?
All right, man, and thank you for your call.
All right, cool.
All right, let's take another call. Thank you once again. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, I know that you were talking about brush fires and so on, but I was listening to the instructions that the officers were giving concerning persons who sometimes park in the area where there are fire hydrants. And I wanted to draw attention to something that is not necessarily related to brush fires, but that is related to roadways in the residential areas. For example, in Bastille, we have a situation where on some roads in Bastille, like for example around Independence Square, like maybe around Central Street area, where there are some vending vehicles which are parked on the roads, and in some cases they are even parked over the sidewalk, and they have no wheels, so they cannot be moved at a moment's notice. And I am suggesting that these pose a potential hazard or a potential difficulty for if the fire service has to respond to a fire in that residential area. I recall some time ago there was a fire over at Port Zante on a boat, and there was an entrance that the fire truck could have used to go across by Port Zante to where the boat is, but that entrance was blocked at the time by barbecue grills that person just had left there. So it's a similar situation now on the roads in Bastille where vehicles are parked without wheels or without inflated wheels so that they cannot move at a moment's notice. I want to urge the fire department to pay some attention to that as well. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. I'll let them respond as well.
That's a very good point.
Very good point indeed.
Any response?
Yes, I would like to thank the caller for that, because over the years that has posed some challenges for us, especially as it relates to being able to maneuver in some of these areas, because we have, vehicles parked there, and, like the caller mentioned, they can't be moved at a moment's notice. We have to either find another way around, or we have to use more resources. By that I mean a lot more hose than we would have needed to if we had gotten closer. And I'm glad he highlighted that, because that is really, and it should not be an issue, especially around Bastille, which is one of your most populous district and St. Kitts. We should be able to move freely in any area, except of course if the street itself is not wide enough, then that's an exception. But where the street is wide enough, we should be able to maneuver freely without any obstruction. So yes, that is something we will look into, and thank you again, Carlo, for that pointing that out.
Yes.
All right, let's take another call. Hi, good morning, and you're live.
Yeah, good morning, G2.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Mark. Thank you. You see, they don't listen to us, They do not listen to us. Young man from the fire department, we want to know the focus. Why the department don't get about 4 men and a pickup like how it used to be a long time, and use the high jump them to blow out Bastille high jump them, the skunk. The skunk, and nobody had in here and 2 people on the road, and I look bad. This is things the department should be happening. You hear Mark talk about down the fire on the boat down by Port Santa? It's true, ain't telling I know about that. When this truck actually get there, the truck can't get in. And a similar thing happening right now, right down there by where they call the place down there, right by the treasury. And the fire and ambulance, you got access to get into the back of the treasury airport. Go down there and see what's happening down there. And you're telling me young, sensible people running these organizations and ain't cleaning up the place? Have a good day. Get close. See you when I see you.
All right, buddy. See you when I see you, man. See you when I see you. Let's take it up. We'll take these last 2 calls, and then I'll let you respond to them. So please take some notes. All right, good morning, you're live.
Good morning, GQ.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Politics.
And good morning, Inspector Francis Davis.
Yes, sir. Morning, sir.
Yeah, now to the firemen. I want to commend you all to come on the radio and educated the Federation about what to do when a fire or not. Now, I am a livestock farmer, and I raise my cattle in the mountain, and in the dry season now. And also, people who got the ground and empty land surrounding them with bush and dry grass. What about if you catch somebody lighting this fire, and that fire destroy your animal, or destroy some people banana tree, young banana tree them and so, and destroy your crop, your food crop? Do you could take that someone to the courts and get some money for your things them? Because I see people suffer the cause, People lose the whole crop, the crop of things, crop of nuts, crop of sweet potato, crop of pumpkin, because the fire scorch up everything around the surrounding. And people, and they know who like the fire. But up to now, the person for the ground and the people for the animal ain't get no justice for them. I even lose animal and I with fire. So I just want to know what you can do to compensate your back when these things happen. I will listen after you.
All right, thanks. We're going to take our final call, which is on the overseas end. Well, we lost that call. So I'll let you guys wrap up by answering, and Inspector Francis will take your lead after that. We have just about 2 more minutes before we cross over for National Assembly.
Okay, Mr. Politics, I think that would be a police question. And I would answer and say, just on the reverse side, if your animals venture into a crop and damage the crop, the owner can get some compensation from you. So too, if you know of somebody who caused the fire, you can get compensation. If the fire caused a damage to your house, to your field, to your animals, you can get compensation. Just make a report to the police, and the police is duty bound to investigate. and you can get compensation. Yes? I will turn over to the gentleman to wrap up, and then I'll have the last word. Anyone can go first.
Okay, just to say, the caller who mentioned about going around and blowing drains, the drains are the responsibility of the health department. We do work in collaboration with the health department in that regard. They come and they make certain requests, and we assist them wherever and whenever we can. So that would fall on the health department. Also, access areas really should not be blocked. Any area that gives access to, and it's a main access or main entrance, should not be blocked. So I just wanted to point that out.
Also, in relation to the cleaning of the hydrants, we do have a program running where our fire officers, they go out, whether at mornings or sometimes in the evening, throughout all 3 districts to actually clean these hydrants. So our hydrants are being maintained.
Beautiful. Now, GK, from me, I want to thank the fire officers for coming out, and I want to thank the extra senior guy in the background, always off camera, for coming and lending some support to the good gentlemen. And I want to thank them for coming out and sensitizing us. I learned a lot today, and I know the listening public learned a lot as well. And this is what we encourage, policing with you, we police with different agencies, to bring about some knowledge and sensitize the general public. I want to thank you, GQ, for being here and supporting the program. I want to thank the management staff of ZAZ, and I want to thank the listening public and the persons who called in. And see you when I see you.
Yeah, you pick it up. You pick it up. You pick it up. Yeah, see you when I see you. This morning program came to you compliment National Bank, and thanks for listening and watching as well. And keep in mind, you can see a rebroadcast of this on television as well.
Everywhere. Say what you think, what you think, what you think, what you think about justice. What you know, what you know, what you know, what you know about love.
Did you know that National Bank offers very favorable terms and low interest rate to switch your home mortgage? Or in-house legal department will process your mortgage in a jiffy and free of cost. Switch